Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. It is free to follow me. Free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. Free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea Podcast. There is new content over there. Follow me on the Tickety Talk at Anonymous Tea Podcast. Free to follow me on the Instagram. On the Instagram, he's at Anonymous Reality Tea. Free to share everywhere. Free to like the video so it gets out to the algorithm. Free to share with your family, your friends, and your foes, and coming or going, hit the like button. So today we're talking Love Island USA Season 7, Episode 28. And it was... you know what? I think I'm at the point now, you guys. I'm just ready for the season to end. I'm just ready for this to close. Let's just close the door, close the chapter, close this season, because... I just feel like a lot of things have been ruined this season that was unnecessary. I feel there was too much production and interference with foolishness, like the fake dumpings, the ruining of Casa Amor, just there no Twitter challenge. It looks like there might not be a movie night. Like there's just a lot of shenanigans and way too much Big Brother / traitors going on than actual Love Island. So it's like we've had so much drama for these past few weeks, especially. We finally get a lighthearted episode, but even the lightheartedness still didn't feel really genuine, right? So we're picking up in the episode where we left off with the massive dumping of 5 Islanders the previous night. We have Iris in her widow era crying over TJ circa when Hannah was crying, holding the picture of Charlie and everything else. And here's my thing, y'all. Here's my thing. If it is going to break you down like this, and you love that person, and you know that that is your person and everything else, go be with them. Why not go join them? That's my thing. Like, listen, even though we dragged KK season 5 for the foolishness with Keenan and her leaving the villa with him, which was cray-cray, but at least she was going to stand 10 toes down in the Delulu with Keenan, right? And everything else until it didn't work out, right? These people who are acting like a widow, acting like the man left for war, acting like y'all got a call that something went down at the war zone and everything else, and y'all crying like this, go be with them. No, nobody is forcing you to stay in that villa. Nobody is forcing you to stay. Make it make sense. So Iris is crying to Shelly, Huda, and Alandria saying, you know, I feel as though I understand what y'all going through in terms of, you know, I was just there with finally feeling the same type of emotions and feelings that y'all felt when y'all were down bad for y'all men or whatever else. And I'm assuming she's talking about with Huda and Jeremiah and Alandria with Taylor and Shelly and Ace, because there's no way Huda feels that way about Chris, and there's no way currently Alandria feels that way about anybody currently in that villa. Nonetheless, we have a Clark and a Taylor scene, and I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I actually don't mind Taylor and Clark as a couple. I actually think they're very cute. And I see a different Taylor, and Taylor's even acknowledging it, talking about this is the happiest that he's ever been. He felt a way about the America votes. However, he was happy as though that Clark was not in the bottom 3 as well. So there, you know, she's laying on his lap or whatever else. He's way more affectionate with her. And this is just the piece that I want to speak on, right? Alandria knew when Jalen came into the villa that Jalen was already hitting Alandria up with the compliments and everything else, and she told Taylor then that Jalen's doing everything you don't do. Complimenting me, doing all of this, doing all that, being a gentleman, being all of these things, being chivalrous, all of these things. You're not doing any of that, right? You're giving me the bare minimum. And then you only amped up just the physical touch and things like that just the couple of days that Jalen was in the villa just to secure your safety, right? But nonetheless, Taylor has been wide open for Clark this entire time, has been affectionate, has been leading with compliments this entire time. And my thing is this, y'all, and this is a lesson. You know, if a man wants to, he will. If a man wants to, he will. It doesn't matter how shy he is, y'all. It doesn't matter how much of an introvert he is, y'all. It doesn't matter. If he wants to, he will. If he is interested in you, he is going to show you. And I just wish Alandria took off the blinders sooner, y'all. I just wish she did. I just really wish she chose Jalen, right? So Clark and Taylor kiss. You know, and really the thing of it is, I want to say this too about America, because I feel like the votes are just not voting. The smoke should have been for Taylor and how he treated Alandria in terms of how he kept breadcrumbing her and kept lying to her and refused to tell her this is over, right? But would tell her, hey, we're still open to exploring. We're still doing this, still doing that. But like I told you all in my previous video, I felt all of this was over the night of the Casa recoupling, in which he flat out chose Clark. There was no need for, you know, the foolishness that took place at the Stand On Business challenge, because he already chose Clark, right? And he wasn't talking to Alandria. So I felt like the smoke should be directed to Taylor's way. I am just confused with America, because you guys voted Clark low, you know, in addition to Taylor. I don't personally have an issue with Clark. To me, Clark hasn't been messy. She hasn't been mean. She hasn't been problematic compared to previous Casa people. So I don't understand why y'all hate her so much. Maybe I'm missing something, but at least from what I have seen from my vantage point, I just see somebody who's awkward and weird, just like Taylor, and I feel like that's part of why they work. I also feel Taylor's way more into Clark than Clark is into Taylor as well, which it might also be why, you know, he is, you know, doing all the things, right? Then, you guys, we then get a new Zach. We get a new Zach Hay, and I'm just over it. He sees, obviously, he's doing all this apologizing, all this backtracking, now that he sees that Amaya Papaya is liked by America. And I'm just like, get this scammer off my TV. This is what scamming looks like. As much as y'all want to put the scammer allegations on Shelly and Ace, Zach with the K is proving, you know, what scamming looks like and what it entails, how you treat somebody one type of way. The moment that an America vote is released, you completely switch up. You do a complete 180. Shout out to Cinco from Love Island USA Season 3. Anyways, but that's kind of what happened too there. After an America vote, he switched up too. But anyways, we also get Alandria confiding in Iris that she felt a way that one of her best friends had the audacity to stand behind Taylor. And Iris was like, who was that? And she said, Sierra. And so Sierra and Alandria have a conversation, and Sierra's like, well, you know, I don't want you to take this personal. And I basically, you know, I chose Taylor because I just wanted to be there for Nick. And I know Nick would go through it if Taylor was no longer in the villa. And I was like, no. Sierra is full of it. Sierra is full of it. Also, sidebar, way too much Sierra in this episode with all of the allegations, with all the stuff going on, with her comments and everything else. Like, Love Island USA is not standing on business. They are not standing on business at all. And it's just unfortunate, because it's like, you could have dumped her. You could have let her go from the villa and had, you know, Nick explore another connection or bring in a couple of bombshells or whatever else. But basically, y'all just said, hey, we're going to just be committed to pushing Sierra and Nick for the win regardless. But I'm here to tell you they're not going to win. And they might be in a situation where they get bumped down to 3rd or 4th place because of you guys being this irresponsible and just not dumping her from the villa. Because you can't pick and choose when y'all want to be against racism and be against slurs and be against propaganda and bigotry and misogyny and all these things, and then just let people stay for as long as they want to when it's people that you want to push to win. No. Not gonna cut it, right? So then we see Iris and Pepe. They are right next to each other as far as their beds are in the villa. So it was nighttime, and why did Pepe he opened up his his comforter, it was like his duvet, and he was like, Iris, you want to come in here? What? Pepe! Pepe! I thought you just said that you were missing Hannah and that nobody is like Hannah up in this villa. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And Iris is looking at him like, like, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? No. Y'all are not going to fool me with y'all shenanigans. Also, shout out to Shelly for being a girl's girl who was hyping Iris up, telling her you don't need to rush anything as far as new connections and this and that. Grieve the loss of your husband, TJ, and start again another day. Even though the show ends next Sunday, you guys. Make it make sense. But for as much people have all this smoke and try to, play Shelly like this, like I just wasn't featuring it. And so Shelly and Ace have a conversation. They're trying to sort out why America hates them and everything else. Shelly's even up here saying in the Beach Hut confessional, she's like, listen, look at here, like, what did I do? What did I do to piss y'all off? What did I say? Here's what you did, Shelly. You made Huda be held accountable for once, and her fans don't like that. They like to live in Huda can do no wrong, and even if Huda does wrong, it doesn't matter. And that's the problem that I have with stand-up. Y'all can't be just standing for people, and then when they do something wrong, cuss people out, do all this and do all that. Y'all on the mute challenge, but let it be a Black Islander that does the same thing. Oh, they've got to go. They've got to get out of my villa, and da-da-da-da-da. No! That is why I will continue to vote for Shelly, and y'all will deal with it. Shelly will continue to have my vote, and y'all will deal with it, because I don't like where this is about to go with the Black Islanders as the show has gotten popular. Mark my words, they are not happy with, like, they lure in the Black voters for all of these seasons and have all these Black Islanders and everything else, but then they try to push different people, like they pushed last season hardcore for Kaylor and Rob to win, right? Kaylor and Aaron to win, and also push hard for Rob to win. And y'all were, y'all stood on business and was like, I'm going to keep voting for Serena. I'm going to keep voting for Janae and everything else. And they both got that win and got that final, right? Even though I still feel like Janae should have made second place. But nonetheless, y'all, I am not going to be doing that to Shelly. Shelly and Ace are making that final because, listen, y'all, they're one of the few most genuine couples in there. I don't believe the scamming allegations. I think y'all use that as an excuse to, knock them down, right? Now, if you want to get on Ace for how the whole Jeremiah elimination went down, even though we still to this day did not hear the deliberation, I still think Nick and other people, Nicolas, were leading the charge for his eviction, because I don't feel Ace had to say much, because basically everybody already knew that there's no love lost between Ace and Jeremiah, because I feel like if that was the case, they would have just showed the footage of Ace, piping up and everything else. But I think y'all mad at how Ace treated Amaya, which is valid. And y'all are mad at how Ace is messy and gets involved in everybody else's business instead of cultivating his own relationship, cultivating his own couple. And that's what it's about. I think Ace had lost the plot and just thought, hey, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get camera time and screen time, and I'm going to be messy, but that's not what we're watching the show for. We're watching for Love Island. We're watching for you to grow your connections with people. And that seemed to be lost as far as Ace went in terms of his connection with Shelly. Yeah, you were doing nice things for her, but outside of that, you were being messy. You were playing Big Brother. You were playing Survivor. You were playing the traitors, trying to get people kicked off. And you should have been cultivating this couple with Shelly. Otherwise, she wouldn't have to be seeking out, Chris and whomever else, because you're doing some craziness. So him and Shelly had a cute moment where he took off his jacket or whatever, because Shelly was cold, and she was was trying to tell him that, you know, she does feel that he's boyfriend material. Shelly also said that she is falling for Ace. However, she's not in love with him or doesn't love him like that, but does have love for him, right? So I have a feeling they'll probably be closing it off soon. I'm confused by people saying that they did close it off, because I didn't hear that. Because I know that if there was a close off, Ace would have planned a whole ceremony. He would have planned a whole ceremony with Nick and Taylor doing all the work. So nonetheless, I'm confused by that comment. So we get into the next day. And the morning, the men decide to switch it up. They decide to make crepes for all the girls. And Shelly feels bad about everything that happened with Ace and just how she felt that with him getting, you know, ranked practically last for everything, that she wanted to do something nice for him and make him breakfast. So they had a cute little moment. They had like the little picnic blanket. They ate breakfast on the docks. Shelly basically said, listen, I don't want to be Dora the Explorer anymore like you have been. You know, I'm just going to focus in on you. And I feel like in this conversation, I don't feel that she did this because of the America vote. I think she did this because essentially her and Chris haven't spoken. Her and Chris have not been in communication. They have not talked. They have not, you know, seen each other. They've not interacted outside of these messy challenges. So in Shelly's mind, she's like, well, what am I doing? I'm saying I want to explore Chris, but Chris is not putting any effort towards me. So what is the point? What the Welliance, what the Shelly-ance, right? So she's like, well, you know, might as well just lock this thing down with Ace. But I never heard that they actually said that they were closing it off. All I heard Shelly say was that she was done exploring with Chris. So, and then her and Ace had a kiss, because prior to that, Taylor was asking Shelly if her and Ace were going to close it off, and she basically said that's up to Ace. So, as of this episode, I still did not hear that they actually were closed off. So, I'm confused as to what people are talking about. Oh, they did this because of the America vote. But what did they do? They didn't close anything off. All Shelly said was that she was dropping Chris, that there was nothing further to deal with Chris, but I never heard they actually closed off. So that's just me. So Iris and Pepe have a conversation, and they are mourning the loss of, you know, their previous couples. They're acting like widows and everything else. Now all of a sudden Iris is like, you know, this is my bombshell buddy, but I never looked at him that way, and it just completely went over my head, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, here we go. Y'all calling everybody else a scam, but the scam is about to be right here, because once this show is over, you're going back to TJ and Pepe is going back to Hannah. Hannah, as we speak, is still hyping this man up, calling him her man on the Tickety Talk Live, y'all. So make it make sense. If y'all are voting for them, I just don't know what to tell y'all. I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, what are we doing? So we then see a conversation between Nick and Bryan, and I find this so funny. Nick, I don't know what is his deal. So he's trying to copy the other day Elon's slick back hair look. And then now he's trying to copy Zach with the K in the bandanas. And I'm like, is anybody clocking this? Am I the only person that's clocking this weirdness from Nick? Like, I don't know. It's like he's seeing these different dudes, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's because of Elon's interest in Sierra, or if it's because of Zach K's interest in Landria. I don't know what's going on, but it's hilarious to me. So he has a conversation with Bryan. Bryan basically is explaining that he knew that Jaden was a lost cause, but he still was going to show his support and vote for her to stay in the villa. That was one of his other connections. He didn't really see the point of voting for Adrina, since things were not going to progress with them and that situation was over. Also said that he was interested in Amaya, had a good conversation with her, and Nick was encouraging him to explore that, right? Also, I peeped since the America, vote and everything else, and the questionnaire, Sierra has been glued to Amaya like, she's just been her shadow. She's been following her everywhere. And I'm like, Sierra, you are so fake. You are so obvious. Like, how does she get this far? How did this girl get this far in this villa, y'all? Because I'm just not seeing it. This is so obvious that she is trying to latch on to Amaya's popularity and everything else so that she can look good for America, so she can try to secure the win. No, not on my watch. Not on my watch. And again, screw production for not getting her up out of this villa. Like, what are we doing? Why is she still there? Amaya has a conversation with Clark that I really enjoyed. Basically told Clark, listen, looky here, don't worry about that America vote. I think it was dirty that they had you last in all those polls and everything else. It was completely unnecessary. It was completely ridiculous. I just want you to know that you're just getting the heat because of the Taylor situation, and that's not fair. And America had it wrong. And I was like, thank you, Amaya. See, this is what you're supposed to do, right? This is what you're supposed to do. So they had a really good chat, everything else. Then there was this weird chat with Chris and Huda. And I'm just going to tell y'all, Huda fans, Chris is settling for Huda. And he pretty much told her that, but she didn't want to hear that part. He said that he got sad the other night because he had a basketball dream and how much he misses basketball and wants to get back into it. And I'm confused because this man is almost 30. He's only played overseas. He's not in demand for the NBA. His stats are looking like somebody who is, maybe got selected because of his height, but is contributing nothing offensively or defensively to the game. His stats, you guys, are in the toilet. If he was in demand, like he said in the Standing on Business game, that he would play overseas right now, he would be overseas right now. He would not be on Love Island, y'all. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we just giving anybody the space to just say a whole bunch of foolishness on TV when his stats say otherwise? You know what that conversation was with Huda? That conversation with Huda was, listen, looky here, I'm homeless. I am broke. I need a place to stay. Can I stay at your crib and play with your daughter, play games all day with your daughter while you go to work? That's what that conversation was, you guys. But y'all are so caught up in this competition between Huda and Shelly, y'all not seeing that this man is here for the scam. And Huda does not realize that she's being scammed. And I would think if y'all were true Huda fans, you would not want this for her. You would not want this for her at all. But nonetheless, anything to just, hype somebody up, hype anything up. And there you have it. So then a text message comes through that we've got a challenge, y'all. And the challenge was called Crashing Out. And the makeup of this challenge is you have to choose a wingman or a wingwoman, and there are like questions about what your dating style type of is, if you want dining in or taking out, if you like to call, if you like to text, that sort of thing. And one of the doors is going to open and the other door is going to remain closed, and basically you crash out. Your head is you're wearing a helmet, you run in, right? And so then what happens, you end up in like a whole bunch of balls. That sounded nasty. But you end up in a whole bunch of balls. And then the next piece is the men have to go through this obstacle course, but there's like slime and it's slippery. And then the other islanders, they're like squirting like water and stuff at you. And you have to make it through this obstacle course. And then you have another ball of balls. You have another pool of balls. And then you choose an islander. No. After you go through the obstacle course, you have to go to the station to say why you crashed out, and then a pie hits you in the face. And then after that, you then go into the pool of balls, and choose somebody to kiss. So the highlights, I'm not going to hold y'all, this challenge took a million years. This challenge lasted way too long. And I was at the point where I was like, okay, can we wrap this up? Can we wrap this challenge up? I get the gist of this, but let's wrap this up. Nick chooses Alandria for his wingwoman, and I know the Nicolandria fans, the Nicolas fans, like, y'all are just eating this up. Y'all gonna eat up this crumb, and I'm sure it's already clipped on the tickety talk. So they have, they go through, that's his wingwoman or whatever else. Nick says that his crash out is when he got dumped from the villa, and he, of course, chooses Sierra to kiss. Ace chooses Taylor to be his wingman, and he, of course, chooses Shelly to kiss. He said his crash out, y'all, was Nick being dumped from the villa. No. What? not crashing out because of Shelly's connection with Chris, not crashing out. I was like, oh, so Nick being dumped had you more upset than your connection going completely sideways with Shelly? Oh, okay. So then we have Elon, y'all. He goes and he says that his crash out is because he was upset that Nick was still in the villa. And he crashed out about that. And he chose Iris for a kiss, y'all. We have Pepe go. Pepe chooses Taylor for his wingman. And for some reason says that Taylor is the most genuine man in the villa. And I don't know what he's talking about, because a whole model on Instagram or on the Tickety Talk had exposed that Taylor is just here for the vibes and trying to get his modeling career launched and all this other foolishness. So I'm confused on what part of genuine in the dictionary is Taylor's name there, because the way he was moving with the Landria, it was giving, hey, I'm just here to secure my safety until the person I want comes through. Like, what are we talking about, right? So then that happens. And then what happens too is Pepe chooses Iris to kiss. They have a really good kiss. Alandria is being messy in the confessionals, and she's like, listen, looky here, Pepe's got a type, and that is the blonde. That is the blonde. That is the, you know what it is, right? You know what it is. And so they have a really good kiss. Iris is feeling it. She's featuring it, everything else. We also have Zach go. Zach has chosen, he chose first to have Amaya be his wing woman. And then he chooses Alandria to kiss at the end of the challenge. And Alandria's like, see, this is the only way you were going to get a kiss from me is if we did this up in this challenge. So that was that. I'm trying to think anybody else that was of interest or whatever else. Oh, Chris, he chose BRYAN as his wingman and kissed Huda. Didn't really care about that. BRYAN chose Huda as his wing woman and then chose Amaya to kiss. They both really enjoyed the kiss. They were happy with the kiss and everything else, y'all. And I'm trying to think, I think that was mostly it. And then they had a competition at the end as far as who they felt had the best crash out, and they awarded it to Ace. I feel like they did that to cheer up Ace, because Ace just looks like he is in a state of depression. He is in a state of just being down on himself and down on everything. A lot of people in the villa were confused about Shelly and Ace, like getting bad couple remarks from America, because they feel that they're one of the strongest couples here in the villa. So they were all lost in the social. So everybody goes back to the villa. They recap the game. They recap how everything went. So basically, Pepe is talking about his kiss with Iris. We have, BRYAN talking about his kiss with Amaya and everything else. And so on and so forth. And Iris is up here talking about how she likes Pepe and everything else, and how I never looked at him that way, and da-da-da-da-da-da. So everybody gets changed for the evening, and then we see a conversation between Shelly and Crystal. And I don't know about y'all, but I still saw chemistry there. I still saw a spark there. I still saw a connection there. It was giving that y'all did not communicate effectively to each other, that y'all still wanted this to be a thing. Because if y'all recall, when Chris came back from Casa, he told Shelly, I want to explore this, I want to continue this and everything else. Told Ace, man to man, I'm interested in your girl until Shelly tells me herself she is no longer interested. I'm going to continue to pursue her. But after that, I never saw anything else. It was after the fact that Huda crashed out about Shelly getting an extra pancake and a flower and not her, that I saw Chris just cease all communication with Shelly at that point. So I feel like Chris needs to own the fact that he did not step up. He stopped talking to Shelly himself. He did this to himself. Him and Shelly, like, she could have still been giving him the energy, giving him the time and everything else, had, he put those conversations forth. But basically, he admitted in this conversation that he settled for Huda. So it kind of just felt like y'all both kind of wanted this door to be open. Y'all both wanted this connection to still kind of happen, but y'all did not communicate effectively. And I think once the drama with Huda happened, after the heart rate challenge, like y'all just didn't talk to each other at all after that. And then that just put more of a wedge between y'all. That just put more distance to y'all. Make it make sense. But I thought that was a weird conversation to have if y'all are claiming that Shelly and Ace closed things off. No, they did not. Shelly is trying to be in her open era. Shelly is trying to have Crystal as the background, but basically was like, listen, look at here, since you did not put forth the effort, I'm gonna just, focus solely on Ace. And I mean, you should. There's like a week left of the show. Like, what are we talking about here? So that was an interesting conversation. And then we have a conversation with Amaya and Zach again, and she is in this moo-moo, y'all. I'm here for it, though. I'm here for it. It's giving. America loves me. I don't have to be up here in these tight dresses anymore and all this and all of that. I could just be in my moo-moo and we just go walk around this villa because we run this. We run this town. We run this bleep. We run it here in Fiji, and I'm here for it, right? So there was a conversation with Zach, and she is apologizing to him for some reason about her cussing him out. And I'm thinking to myself, Zach deserved the cuss out. He deserved to be cussed out because he was not treating you right. And it fell into the same thing as far as how Ace treated you, as far as how Austin treated you, and now Zach. Like it's the same pattern, right? They'll make it seem like they're all excited about Amaya. They're all excited to get to know her. Then they complain about her. He says that they shouldn't have kissed the first time. He didn't really want to. She's too intense. She's too forward with her feelings. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I don't think Amaya's man is in this villa. I do not think Amaya's man is in this villa. I know y'all are excited about the potential of Amaya and Bryan, and I can't believe some of y'all are comparing this to Janae and Kenny. I'm not seeing it at all. I'm just not seeing it, y'all. I'm not, because I feel like this season in particular, everybody's just trying to get in where they fit in. Everybody is just trying to get in where they fit in. And you want me to keep it real about the Bryan thing? I think he recognized that him and Adrena weren't getting screen time. Because the Love Island cameras, from what I remember, from what I recall, from what one of the Islanders told me, was that, and we used to see this in the earlier seasons, like season 2, season 3, is they've gotten better now at like hiding most of the cameras, even though you can kind of see them. But they'll know when a focus is being on you and a conversation that you're having or something going on with your conversation, is the cameras will start to turn. The cameras will start to move. So although there's like hundreds of cameras in that villa, a lot of them will turn to certain Islanders if they feel that it's something useful that they can utilize for an episode. And so I feel that Bryan saw that him and Adrena were not getting the screen time. They were not getting the attention. So that's why he said he feels that their conversations are boring. He wants to close it off. Let me move on to Jade and let me move on to somebody else that is going to get me screen time so I can try to show my journey here. And then before the America vote, he knows that Amaya is getting a lot of screen time with Zach. Everybody's following Amaya. Everybody's following Amaya's connections because there's always stuff going on in her connections, right? So he is seeing, the whole villa is seeing, they're all literally watching every time Amaya has a conversation with one of these dudes because they know it's lights, camera, action, right? They know it's lights, camera, action. So that is why I am leery on this Bryan situation, because he can totally be telling the truth that he's pro-Dominican and all of this and all of that, does not mind the passion, does not mind this and that, and he had a connection with Adrena, right? However, you have been witness to Amaya having all this attention on her. You witnessed it at Casa. You witnessed it when you watched the show before you came into Casa. You're seeing it now post-Casa. This is all before the American vote, right? So I'm not fully sold on BRYAN. I know y'all gonna vote for Amaya for the win. I'm not sold on BRYAN. And here's why. After Amaya and Zach have that conversation, Amaya then goes to the speakeasy with BRYAN, right? And they're having this conversation about all sorts of things. What do they like to do? What are they into? And still, they're kind of socially distanced, right? And so my thing was, what I noticed, although they ended up kissing and then they kissed again and Amaya got up on top of him in the speakeasy and everything else, but what I noticed from BRYAN was BRYAN did not initiate the kiss. Like, usually a man is going to lean over or come over towards you and start kissing you and doing all of these things. And it was still Amaya that had to go to him. It was still Amaya that had to go and initiate this stuff with dude. And that is why I'm not sold on BRYAN. I'm not sold on him, y'all. I think he is at the right place and at the right time, because another connection of Maya's has gone to the pits. So he is right there in, you know, to go into the winning zone, right? And so they have, I'm not going to hold you. The kiss was a nice kiss, but I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on it, but BRYAN's going to be on his best behavior because he knows that the show's about to end in a week. So therefore, here comes the finish line. But I'd rather Amaya pair up with a tree and win the 100K than be with BRYAN. And I'm hoping that if she does win, that she takes the money. I truly do, because I don't trust any of these dudes that are in the villa right now. The genuine people that y'all got about the villa, Jeremiah and Jalen, I trust more with like sharing the money than I do with these people. So the other scene that I want to speak on to, this is a long video, y'all, is Sierra and Nick. They go to Soul Ties, y'all. And in Soul Ties, it is a very awkward conversation. They are already plotting to kick out Iris and Pepe. They are already plotting on their demise. Sierra knows that trying to kick out Amaya is not going to be good for her votes, so they're going to target Iris and Pepe, the same reason that Sierra targeted Hannah and Pepe and everything else, and Hannah and Charlie and everything else, right? They see them as competition, just like they saw Iris and TJ as competition, even though they were sitting there like they were a Final Four the previous episode, right? They see the writing on the wall that America is going to feel sympathy for Iris and Pepe, that they've lost their connections, that they're just trying to look here for love, and they can potentially come in and steal the win this last week. And they're already planting the seeds, Sierra and Nick are, to get them out. Because they know that they can't get out Amaya, so they feel that let's get out, let's target Iris and Pepe. Let's make sure they do not get to this final, y'all. So they're going to be the next target, y'all. And here's what happens, y'all, because y'all keep forgetting we have, you know, a couple of more things to get into. Yes, we vote for the final. Yes, we have a vote for America's favorite couples. However, there also is a vote that the Islanders choose for least compatible and vote their own couples out of there. So do not be surprised if they are going to target to try to get Iris and Pepe out and potentially Huda and Chris out. Do not be surprised, and their argument is going to be they didn't have enough time to form a genuine connection. Watch it, bookmark it, y'all. Bookmark that, right? But they're not going to do that to Amaya because they know Amaya is America's favorite. So therefore, they're going to want to latch on and make sure that they still are in good standing with America and everything else. But that was totally a gameplay conversation. And then there was an awkward part of the conversation where Sierra is trying to explain to Nick what it means to close off. And Nick is lost in the sauce. Nick is lost in the sauce. Nick is completely confused and he does not know what is happening, right? He has no clue what is happening. But none of the less, you know, I don't think Nick is interested in Sierra, and I think Sierra knows that Nick is no longer interested in her as well. But I feel like at this point, they made a pact that we're gonna ride this out to the end. We have a good chance of winning this 100K, so there's no reason to flake out now. But everything that's taken place should show that they should flake out now, because it's not going to work out for them. They're not winning this money. They're not touching this money. So we get a Sunday night, and it's going to be the final recoupling, right? So I'm guessing that means Elon's going to get dumped from the villa. However, I think Zach should get dumped from the villa. I think Alandria should couple with Elon, and they should dump Zach, because I just feel like Zach is scamming. Zach is scamming. He's not authentic. He's not genuine in any capacity. And the way that he treated Amaya was disrespectful. So he should not be rewarded with another chance, another opportunity to try to get it right. No. So that is it. That is all for this video. I want to hear y'all thoughts in the comments. What do y'all think of, this episode 28? Who do you guys think is going to be in the finals? So I'm still standing 10 toes down that I think now, as it stands as of this episode, I think the final four would be Amaya and Bryan, would be Nicholas and Sierra, Shelly and Ace, and then it is going to be a battle between either, I think really the point of keeping Taylor is so that Nick and Ace can ensure Taylor and Clark get to that final. I'm trying to tell you the game. They're trying to make sure that they are in the final three. That is why Sierra and Nick voted to keep Taylor. They want Taylor in that final with them. Even if they get fourth place, they know that Taylor is easier to beat because he's getting a lot of hate from America. They know Shelly and Ace are going to be easy to beat because of the low votes from America. So they're going to want to make sure that that final three stays intact with Shelly and Ace and Taylor and Clark, y'all. So that is why they're plotting now on Iris and Pepe, and then they're going to eventually plot on Huda and Chris. Watch it, y'all. And I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Taylor and Clark have a stronger connection than Huda and Chris. I said it. So that is it. That is all for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.